Looked like one of the more competitive fixtures of the weekend, but it turned out to be very one-sided. Man City absolutely thrashing Liverpool 5-0. We even saw a red card. Craig Burley's here with me for this one. Craig, first of all, your thoughts on the red card. Pep Guardiola had some stuff to say about it. What did you think of it?
I never take too much notice of what any manager says after a game, because what we do find with coaches around the world is that they kind of see things one way, and they hedge the bets depending on the result they've had. What we do know, it was a competitive game up until the Mane red card. For me, it was a red and an easy decision for John Moss, and not because there was any intent or he tried to injure the goalkeeper. It was unfortunate that he made a great run and there was a fantastic ball, but it skipped off that surface at the Etihad up to head height. That was the big unfortunate part of it, because then he's got a split decision to make at full speed with a goalkeeper rushing out at him. Do a pull out of this or do a go for the ball? But once he raises his boot to head height with the studs and he catches the keeper clearly in the head, and he's got some pretty bad injuries to show for it, and he was stretchered off, then John Moss has got no decision to make as a referee, because it was dangerous and it could have caused a particularly bad injury to an opponent. Now, that's not to say that he tried it, because clearly his eyes were on the ball, and that's what some supporters are trying to say. But but his eyes were on the ball, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Still dangerous play.
It's dangerous play. It's a high boot, and it resulted in a pretty nasty injury. So, and when you put that all in the melting pot, it was a relatively simple red card, in my opinion.
But what about Liverpool on a whole? Because I remember we were talking to Stevie Nicol about this just yesterday, and he says, well, he can't predict the score just yet. He doesn't think Liverpool will lose this match. And I know that red card and losing someone like Mane is a big turning point in the game, but to just open up and lose 5-0.
Well, Stevie's got those Liverpool goggles out again. I mean,
but they've been playing well.
Yeah, they have. But I think, City are a better side. I mean, you look at the players going forward. They left Bernardo Silva on the bench. Sané was on the bench, comes off, scores a couple of great goals. Mendy in the team now. You've got De Bruyne, who's fantastic again. David Silva. He played Aguero as Jesus, went back to the formation from the first 2 games of the season. And Liverpool's big issue before the sending off was the fact that their 2 centre-halves, Klavan and Matip, got exposed again. Because it came from a goal kick straight out. City won it back, there's too much room, and De Bruyne plays a beautiful little ball through, but there's too big a gap between the centre-halves. Klavan was on the left and Matip was pushed forward, and he didn't even know Aguero was going into the gap. So that's Liverpool's Achilles heel. And I said it a couple of weeks ago, it's not the fact that they didn't sell Coutinho, or they could have sold Coutinho to Barcelona, and that was going to be a big issue for them, because we see how good a Mane a player is. We know what Salah can do. The big issue, and it's going to be this whole season, is that they've got an issue with the left back and they've got an issue with the 2 centre backs. Now, if they don't solve that, getting back into that top 4 will be difficult.
All right, thanks so much, Craig Burley. So a lot of questions for Jurgen Klopp to answer, but for Manchester City, it's smooth sailing today.
And Manchester City's 5-0 win over Liverpool takes them top.
That might be a familiar top of the table as the season progresses.
With Huddersfield in there?
No, I mean the first 2. Yes. As you know only too well.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, might be, I say, might be.
Paolo, that's very much a Pep Guardiola performance, isn't it?
Second half mature. I think one of the characteristics of this team also, it happens often in the second half. Continuous movements of rupture, players coming from behind, with the great delivers on the feet straight away to have the touch or to finish it or to make the final pass, and he makes the difference, because he gives a rhythm to this completely control of the game with one player more, with width, with deepness. I think he deserves all this great win.
Maybe that, Peter, is the difference between his philosophy and Mourinho's. How many times have we seen a Mourinho team get to 2 and stop?
Well, he changed it to 4 at the back. He changed it to 4 at the back to get an extra man going forward in the middle of the park to use the extra man. So proactive in his choice. Knows he's got players who can shift the football. He's got players who can pass and move the football quickly. Yes. So the extra man Manchester City used it so well today.
I think they're the best side I've seen in exploiting an extra man.
Correct.
And because they move the ball so well and their movement across the football pitch.
It's their own characteristic.
Yeah.
It's to deal well with timing and space. And with the extra man,
they exploit it beautifully. And when they're there, their patience as well is
the
there.
patience, but also to have players running forward. Not only to keep it the possession,
This before half-time?
Yeah, this is going to be a big talking point. Of course it is, because everyone who's a Liverpool supporter or who everyone connected with them will say he was unlucky. He might have been unlucky. He might have been. But even after 45 minutes later, he's put himself in a position where he's offered himself up to be sent off.
What are you saying he might have been unlucky? Are you changing your mind?
No, I'm not changing my mind. He might have been unlucky. Right, because there might be some referees that would have kept him on in that respect.
But he's not unlucky, Andy, is he?
Well,
he
not for
had
me.
to go.
Not for me. I think he had to go. As soon as you put your foot up there, you're offering yourself up for trouble. If somebody's coming to head it.
It meets all the criteria of what do I generally say?
To you, I guarantee you,
affecting the well-being of an opponent.
Yeah, but I'm right. You will have tomorrow a press, certain amounts of the press and certain amounts of pundits. Klopp went to the referee's not watching. He wasn't very happy with John Moss here, and then he's obviously shown his displeasure at not shaking hands.
Well, he shouldn't do that. That's the first thing you would say. Secondly, if John Moss has got that wrong, Liverpool will appeal and they'll win.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they'll
ultimately
win.
I think unlucky it was the second goal straight away, because if he goes to the second half, probably you don't take straight away the decision.
No.
Klopp to try to have one man a little bit more forward.
Yeah.
And looking, at dropping to don't concede and waiting for some mistake or some moment of the game where he can balance. But straight away the second goal, yes, I think. In that moment.
Yeah, they had to get to half-time at 1-0, give them a chance.
Yeah.
Give them a chance. Both coaches changed. I mean, Klopp went to 3 at the back to try and get some more men, being able to go forward. But in fairness, they absolutely controlled the second half.
There's that run again.
That's that run.
Great
picking
passes.
Up space.
Because this type of passes, it's not easy. You need to be really precise with a great speed on the feet. For the first touch, straight away go out of his directly opponent, and it happens often.
What a first touch from Aguero as well.
Unbelievable. I mean, the ball from Fernandinho is magnificent. Superb. Look at the gap he feeds that through.
Superb.
Beautiful.
But the ball's great, but still basic defending, of which Liverpool, they didn't pick runners.
No.
He's in front of him, making us run, Aguero again, they didn't pick him.
See, there are 2 straight balls that just played there.
Runners.
Because the space between players from the same lines, it's too high.
Correct.
And the first movement it's forward, but go out of the directly opponent, direct defender.
Yes.
And straight away, in that time precisely, comes the pass on the feet. First touch, lovely. You go out of the man. Straight away, it's in advantage.
Great goal. I mean, Klopp before the game would be saying to his defenders, Aguero's great at playing on shoulders, getting in space. Be aware of it. To me today, and whether there was 10 men or 11 on, they weren't aware that that's a great goal.
But Liverpool were not at it with 11, were they? They weren't playing in a way we'd expected.
Let's just say they played a little differently, or they set themselves out. They didn't press, they didn't push players high up the pitch. They were happy to drop off to the halfway line and say to City, OK, you can have the ball there. Now, I don't know if they would have continued to do that, but certainly early on in the game, they were happy to let City have the ball and just say, well, come and see what you've got. And it worked OK for them. They weren't creating a lot themselves, but they weren't in much trouble.
But also of course, we don't expect that for the previous games Liverpool showed to us. But at the same time, Salah have 2 or 3 possibilities in that counter-attack.
Absolutely.
With that space.
Yes, he did.
Probably
very much
don't
so.
spend energy in that moment.
Yeah.
Probably it was his strategy.
Yeah.
Not in that time, or probably during the first half to find out the right moment to press a little bit more high. And probably we change everything what we are saying if Salah make the final passes of his
Salah's finishing was as good as Sané's, then Liverpool might well have been 1-up before Manchester City scored.
Yeah, but City it was today from the beginning till the end a top team.
Has Jurgen Klopp taken Liverpool forward?
How did I know you were going to level that at me? Listen, what I would say is, do I think the Brendan Rodgers team that went so close to winning the title is a better team than this one? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But that doesn't mean that Klopp hasn't done a good job, because he lost Gerrard, he lost Raheem Sterling, he's lost Daniel Sturridge, really.
Yeah.
And the big one he lost was Suarez. So that's part of being a coach, though. You lose players, but then he bought Coutinho.
He spent
got
150 million.
He spent 50 million plus more than Brendan Rodgers, and his team are no nearer winning the title. I would put that there. But does that mean he's not made progress?
The officials about the red card decision, and is it almost your feeling that they've judged it on how serious the injury was rather than what actually happened?
Look, that would be now really nice. Mr. Moss was close to send me on the stand, so probably I have absolutely no power.
So he came over to you, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. You saw it. So if you have something to ask, then do it by yourself. What he thought, I don't know what he thought. I only said to the fourth official, I think it's not a penalty, a red card. But so, and then it started. I mean, I thought then, oh my God, it took 20 minutes. Hopefully, it's not serious. Whatever happened, that's unlucky. Really, whatever. If it's serious, it's unlucky. Sadio would never have done it. And then you will say it's a dangerous game because you have the foot there. I don't know. It was not that high. Goalie came more in this direction. So I don't know what you say about it, but in my opinion, there was no red card, and Sadio feels really bad in the moment, and hopefully the goal is not. It's not too serious.
Yeah, but it's Liverpool, so we cannot. We know that they can play, but if not, they attack the channel so well. And Salah is faster our central defenders, and Mane is faster our central defenders. The game was open. It was not in the hands from Liverpool hands on our hands. But after the first goal, it was a little bit better, and especially, of course, with 10.
Yeah, that was obviously a key moment when it went 11 against 10. Firstly, how is Ederson? How is your goalkeeper? We saw he went away, I think, but he was back by the end of the match.
Well, I spoke to the doctor, and he is not broken, the bone, so that is, of course, so important. I don't know if he will be nicer after that. But Ederson saved us in the first section, 1 or 2 action with Salah. He saved the goal. I think we bought a huge goalkeeper for the next.
It was brave actually for the red card as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think in this kind of action, Mane didn't see. He's looking the ball, and after some, but the impact is huge. So it's here, and so I don't know with red card, but I am pretty sure the red card in Kyle Walker against Everton was not.
So maybe a bit of luck that went against you in previous games, like the Everton one, went for you today.
But the action is, I don't know, it's red card or yellow card, but it's, I didn't, after the game against Everton, I didn't speak about play 15 minutes with 10s against 11 with the unfair decision, and play in Bournemouth without Kyle too. And today I'm going to speak neither about that.
Has decided not to recall Philippe Coutinho to the squad that will face Manchester City this weekend. Stevie Nicol is here with me. Stevie, why wouldn't you recall arguably your best player to the squad that will face Man City?
I have no idea.
Top opposition.
Because I would have done it.
He says he's unfit. Are you buying into that? He's not quite fit.
He's not fit enough to play 90 minutes, but he showed for Brazil an international break that he's fit enough to come on and play for, what, 20, 25 minutes and score.
Exactly.
So why would you not have that at your disposal? Klopp's talking about training. He can get 4 or 5. Well, he can train in the morning, or he can train after the game, and he can train for the next 4 or 5 days once his game's over and done with. It really makes no sense to me whatsoever why you wouldn't have him at least on the bench, because if you're in trouble, why would you not want to go and bring this guy on? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it whatsoever.
I would take 20 minutes of Philippe Coutinho than 20 minutes without him. Do you think there's still a bit of bad blood in the water after the whole Barcelona move that should have happened didn't happen?
I don't think there is, no. Klopp is very open about everything, and he's been very open about this situation. He understands that Coutinho did put a transfer request in. He understands that he wanted to leave, and he's not particularly happy. But you know, these things happen in a footballer's career, and Coutinho will get over it, and I'm sure Liverpool will benefit as soon as he gets over that. Saying that, I would still have had him in the squad and on the bench at the very least for this big game against Manchester City.
Does that make them underdogs this weekend?
I think so. Away from home, yes, but I don't expect them to lose, put it that way.
Okay, so Stevie Nicol says that Liverpool will indeed be missing a big man in Philippe Coutinho, but he's still not picking them to lose.
It was not the most easy time, but that's the transfer window. In these times, the only moment when people can make transfers, players can make transfers, clubs can make transfers, and things like this happen. It's not the first time here, and it will not be the last time in the history in the future. But similar things will happen, and I really think we handle it really well. And that there's no secret about the things which happen. Not all the things in newspapers or wherever were 100% right, but it's normal that a lot of things coming up in a situation like this. But nothing I'm aware of was kind of unforgivable or something like this. It's a normal thing. Actually, I said yesterday in the dressing room, so, boys, welcome to new players, yeah? Ox and Phil. So, and all good. That's absolutely. So he loves football, and he still loves this club. So, and there's no problem. The only not problem, but the only thing we have to do now is really to bring him into shape, because maybe a few of you remember still before he got the back problems, he was in outstanding shape.